All right. Here we go. Welcome to the Marketing Club. It's always so exciting to start these rooms because I don't do these all the time. And when I get to do them, I enjoy these conversations because that's what sparks people to connect, to say a couple of things, to learn, to build, and ultimately it just creates this whole new world. And I'm so grateful that we can do this on a consistent basis and do it with precision because I'm able to show and connect with you, learn from you, and also learn how you run your own business, how you run your own connections, and what you do for your own business, really. So the goal here is not just to tell you things that you want to know, but it's also to elevate your knowledge panel and get you to see a few things differently, especially because we're going into a new week. I've been busy flying, traveling, and traveling back to back. Like traveling twice in 2 weeks is intense. I just flew out, I came back in, I flew back again, so I didn't even have time to be on Clubhouse to be online. So I've not been online for a while. So I'm just settling back and I'm excited to take some time to, use this SEO Sundays because I mentioned it before. I wouldn't be doing them all the time because I'm either flying or I'm traveling somewhere else or I'm driving or I'm going somewhere or it's family time. So, and I also want to respect your time too because Sundays are very beautiful, for doing your own things as well. So I wanted to just take a little bit of time of your day today for an hour and connect so that you can also hear some things I've been, I've been doing. Like, I have some feedback for you. I have some good stuff that has been going on. So I'm really excited to share some insights with you. So welcome, Candice. I see you as well. CM, thanks for being here. Anisha, Faye, Marquise, Trell, Felipe, Sharon, and Ishman. Thank you all for joining and being here today. Feel free to connect, be up here. It's a free space, so I want you to also enjoy. And if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat, say anything you'd like, and we'll connect. Please share the room out because I just started this room, and whoever is here needs to, and they can, start understanding where we are, what we're doing, and then you can also do this for yourselves too. So I've been working on some planning strategies for 2024, 2025. And ultimately what I've been noticing is a lot of people are really doing good. Like I'm so happy how people are really taking their businesses seriously, especially in the area of email marketing, because I've been making some pointers about it for a while now. Good evening, Anisha. I've been making some pointers about it because if you want to plan your week for SEO success, you have to do something that is immensely, how am I going to put this? It's going to be immensely achievable, but it's also going to take an immense amount of your time. I'll say that again. It's going to be something that's going to immensely be achievable, but it's going to take an immense amount of your time. When it takes an immense amount of your time, that time you're investing is 20%. That's 1 hour, 2 hours. You have 24 hours in a day. What's 10% of that? 2.4, right? So if I'm spending 1 hour with you, that's less than 10%, right? So if I've empowered your day with the immense amount of time, which we all think, yeah, time is of the essence, but how much time are you investing in the things that you love doing, right? Sam says, blessed day, everyone, wherever you are, and in all your endeavors now and forever. Yes, amen. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. It's a big thing. You have to think about success patterns. Success leaves clues. So if you're immensely going to take your time to do this, think about it, right? This is when I got this moment. I'm going to give you guys a sound effect so you can actually think about this when I say this after this. All right. When I was on LinkedIn last week, I've noticed in my LinkedIn, when I make a repost, I repost with a quote or I repost with a comment. I tag the person who made that post. Like I make sure it's very relatable. I just don't repost because I have to make a repost. I repost knowing that my audience is going to see it. And if they're going to read what they're seeing, then it has to make sense because I don't want to mislead anyone, right? So I saw, and this was when I knew, okay, aha, now I need to start taking this more seriously because I've been so busy working, doing time that I even forget the time to eat. Sometimes I forget to eat sometimes because it's so immense. I'm, doing so many things at the same time. But at the same time, of course, yeah, Anisha, it's happened to me a couple of times to the point where I eat once a day and I'm okay. But I also have fruits, veggies on the side, salads. Like I keep it healthy. But to eat like a 3-course meal, I can't remember the last time I did that because I'm busy, either traveling or walking or driving or on email, on calls, or it's just busy. And I'm like, okay, I have a team, yes, but that doesn't mean that I'm sitting down. I'm doing a lot of legwork while they're doing the groundwork, but it's also teamwork. That's what makes the dream work. So it's not just, oh, I have a team and I'm just sitting down, cooling down. There's so much in the back end that administratively I'm creating that allows so many experiences. Like I was at this amazing convention in DC, and I got to actually shake hands and connect with the senior vice president of the America's Diabetes Society. The other one is American Cancer Society, and they were doing so many great things. We connected on LinkedIn, and we've talked about so many things about podcasting growth and what they're doing for the just the masses, and just hearing from them what their stories are, and just relating with people you don't even know who you're talking to. That's the thing about these conferences. You don't know who you're talking to. And it's so humbling because you meet people from everywhere. So all these experiences has allowed me to come back here and say, okay, how do you plan your week for SEO success? Because I've been planning to come here to tell you that if you want to see success with your SEO, you have to do this. And I'm going to take you back to that LinkedIn, that LinkedIn story. I reposted a post from a follower that I follow, from somebody I follow, and he was pretty much giving a tutorial on Opus Pro. I've talked about this before. Opus.pro, OPUS.pro is an app, a platform that can turn your YouTube video into like 30-second clips in no time with AI captions, everything, emojis. Like you don't have to lift a finger. So the immense time you're creating is the time you're investing in the audio and the video. That's what you're creating. Now, the achievable, immensely valuable factor, right, is that you now have the opportunity, right, to create 30 minutes worth of content. And the next thing you do after that is take that piece of content and turn that into 30-second clips, 30 minutes into 30-second clips. And it's going to pick out the best for you, even does B-roll, like AI B-roll. It's so intense. I'm like, wow, okay, they've really upgraded because I was barely there. I remember when they first started, I talked about it and I just let it go. And I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about it again. So I reposted, and what the guy was doing as on Opus Pro was he was picking out the specific parts of the last debate that just happened, with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump you know, on the debate. With those two on that debate, he picked the YouTube link and showed people on LinkedIn how he picked out the specific topics that were in the debate, and he was able to chop them up using the 30-second clips, right? Just giving an example, you will see it on my LinkedIn. And I reposted that and I said, hey, this Opus is pro because if you are professionally working on something and you want to plan your week ahead, if I've spoken here for 30 minutes and I can give you 30 seconds a day content, that is easy to do because you can listen to me for 30 seconds or you can listen to me for 30 minutes. The choice is yours, right? If you listen to me for 30 seconds and you replay those 30 seconds 30 times, that's great. You have proof of concept. Now you're ready to go. You're charged up. Boom. Now, if you take those 30 minutes and you listen to those 30 minutes while you're driving, or while you're waiting for something, or while you're working, or while you're just actively listening and you're taking notes, those 30 minutes can charge you up as well because now you're getting context and not just content on your screen. So that context you're going through, allows you to understand how you can start building systems, right? When you start building systems, you start creating connections, right? And in my mind, I was like, okay, what do I keep? What do I do? Like, yes, I have a business. Yes, yes, we're good. We're a team. Yes, we're doing things. But what are we really doing? And it came to me, and I was like, we're actually operating. We're building operating systems that allow businesses to operate automatically online, right? There's a client that just started working with us from Memphis, and he owns a mobile drug testing clinic and DNA paternity testing clinic. And I did his audit, and I was like, yo, this is what's looking like on the map. He's like, that's true. So we started working, and we submitted him, instead of just one local listing, now he's on 67 local listings. And he was telling me, like, last week on Friday, he was just getting calls and calls because people were now connecting with him and just asking about things that he does. And it takes a while. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to submit fully, because Google is indexed. It's not like automatic. The thing about SEO is you have to take your time to at least let it germinate. It's not going to just automatically show up. But if you plant it at the right time, within 2 to 3 weeks, within 2 to 3 months, those 2 to 3 videos you're posting, 2 to 3 times in a week, is going to go far, because you're creating that reciprocity. You're building long-term content to complement the short-term content. Even for my church, I was telling them too, hey, let's start doing this as well, because if you're doing 30-minute sermons, 45-minute sermons, and then you're taking 30-second clips and using them on shorts, on reels, on TikTok, and the emojis are there, there's b-roll, like, you don't have to lift a finger. The work has been done. You just have to operate the system. But sometimes we're afraid to push the button because we don't know what's going to happen on the other side. So that's why I do this SEO Sundays, because it's kind of like a charge to let you know, hey, this is what I've been working on. This is what I've been doing. This is who we're helping. This is how we're helping them. And this is how I'm coming back to show you how it's being done. So when you also do it yourself, you can see what's missing and what's not. There's so many things to look into, because you have to intellectually protect your own data. You have to protect how you do things. When you send out emails and you connect with people, right? When you're planning your week for SEO success, you're planning it based on what are people talking about the week before. So if you're in healthcare, if you're in real estate, if you're in food, if you're in finance, if you're in whatever, you can fill in the blank, find out what was talked about last week, not on just random social media platforms. What was the focus? What was the real discussion that took place that you were not aware of, that you can readdress in the new week, that could create an attention and retention curve for you as a business? Because if people are searching actively for something and they can't find it, eventually they're going to have to figure out a way to find it. And if they can't find it, it's going to be hard, right? Because if I keep searching for this thing on videos and I don't get it, then the people who are actually making these videos are just wasting my time. If I'm watching a 5-minute video on YouTube trying to figure this out, but I've spent 15 minutes spending 3 more videos to get the same thing done, whose time is being wasted? Mine. Their time is being wasted too, because they're not getting any return on their investment. Because yes, they're showing a product, but they're not showing the actual value of how to get the product done. Why I'm giving this example is because over the past few days, I got this. I was working with a friend, and we got this Rode microphone, and it's like handheld. So we were trying to get it done, and I was like, okay, let me figure this out. And then the people that were also like journalists, they were in the press, I asked them, I said, hey, do you guys know how to use this thing? Because they had the same product, literally the same identical product, because they were charging theirs as we were charging ours. And is this little like thing when you put it on your microphone, like, it's really tiny. And then you have to connect it to your laptop, and they were using a camera. So I was like, okay, how do you use this thing without a camera? So I went on YouTube, I searched. I took about, let me see, I finally figured it out around, that was probably 7:30 p.m. And I was actively searching for it from about, yeah, 2:30. So it took me about 5 hours. Not because I couldn't get it, but I like a challenge and I like to figure things out. That's just me. I like to build things up. So
I finally figured it out, but I had to go through tons of videos on YouTube because I was searching with keywords. I was like, I'm looking for this, specifically this. I'll watch the video, I'll scrub through it. I'm trying to see the thumbnail, it's not working. Then there was this one video. He didn't really fully explain it, but when he said something, it clicked. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. So by the time I was halfway through the video, I was like, "Oh, I see what you're doing," because I already installed the app. I installed the platform, and there are three different products. So the Road. Let me just put it this way: the Road company themselves. I feel like if I was working in their marketing team, I would have tutorial videos that it really explain it because influencers are explaining it for them, which is great. It's great for product value. It's great for business. It's great for reviews. It's great for brand awareness. It's great for the market. But if the company themselves that built this machine cannot give you a manual, you know how back in the day you'd open a box and you have a whole manual, you don't read it, but it's there, right? But these days you just open an iPhone and there's a phone. You don't have a manual, right? Because you know how to work it or you just work as you go. Now they're saving on paper because they're not going to have to print those things over. There's ink, there's staples, you think about all those little expenses, right? Times the number of units that you're creating. So if you as a business owner want to plan your week for success and say, okay, what were people talking about last week? I'm going to go to Reddit. I'm going to go to Quora. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go to YouTube. When I go to YouTube, when I go to Google, I'm going to click the section that says settings. And then you can tap on settings on Google and choose the last 7 days. You can literally real time search the last 7 days on Google search, right? And when you do that, you're gonna see the whoever which article came out first, which platform came out first. What are they talking about? Because if they talked about it last week, in a few weeks from now, that little article that you see on page 9 could be on page 1 in week 4, and it's gonna be there for the next 4 years. So it's not about who gets there first. It's who lands first on good soil and actually attracts the right people. And how does that work? By creating one pillar and then creating clusters to support the pillar. In other words, you create one comprehensive article talking about one specific topic, and then you create subtopics to support the collaborative article that you're creating that from that one piece. For example, if I want to say 5 ways to grow your social media, I'm going to give you 5 ways in one post. Now, if I talk about attracting your audience, creating a loyal fan base, da 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 da. I'm just giving you random examples. I'll create an article about how to build awareness. I'll create another article about how to create loyal brands. I'll create another one about this and that. So you have to think about those things and you have to build and create them so that you can support your business over time and that can also give you long-term success. Before I go any further, wanting to welcome you, Liverpool, to the room. Thanks for being here. Would love to hear what are your thoughts on the topic.
Hi, Favour. Can you give me a couple of minutes? I'll be back and I'll give my
All
commission.
right. No
Thank you.
worries. Cool. Yeah, this is how we're gonna plan, y'all. If we're planning the right way, we're gonna plan it and do it correctly. Yes, CM, you said 30 seconds clips, 30 minutes of power, 2 times a week. Yes. If you do those things incrementally, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, you will get to the point where you'll see your business just flourish because it grows. There's a threads post I made as I'm speaking to you now. Let me check because I want to give you guys real time stats. I'm going to go to my reposts. Give me a second. I want to show you. And this is when I knew that when you just post things that make sense and it connects to the right people, it's just a matter of time. And you start to see, your business just taking off because you're creating intention, you're building awareness, and then the people that you're also connecting with are also enjoying what you post. Because it's not just about what you are posting, it's also about what you're reposting. Because when you repost somebody else's content, it's social currency. You're not paying for it. Like it takes $0 to like a post, right? So if you share that information with someone and they actually like it, then they're liking it because they like what you said about what you shared. And then if it's also something that they actually enjoy, then the likelihood of you creating that is going to even be bigger. I'm looking at it right now. When you look at this post, wow, my goodness. I posted this. Let me show you guys. This is public information. So let me copy this link and put in the chat. This thread I'm about to share with you was a repost I made. Yeah, put in the chat. There we go. I just put in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So click that link in the chat. You'll see that thread has 199,000 views. I posted that August 29th, 2024. And all I said was 5 words. This page makes me happy. And I got 199,000 views. Now you ask me, Favor, how, like, what did you do? I didn't do anything. I just expressed myself. That's all I did. I just said, this page makes me happy. Like I would say on any other post. And click the link in the chat. Yes, CM. Click the link in the chat. You will see at the very top where you see thread, it will tell you the public number of views. I hope if you guys can see, please let me know. I don't know if it's private, but it should be public because you can see views. So it shows 199,000 views. It has 1.4K clicks, 21 comments, 39 reposts from my post, and then 12 shares outside. So, and then the guy even responded back and said, "Thank you, dude." That's what he responded back. Or, he's like, "Thank you." And I said, "You're welcome, dude." I can give it back to him. And then I give a meme and say, "We care about you." And then I, just showing love, just showing that, like, hey, so I don't know you from Mars, from Venus, I don't know you from anywhere. But because you posted something that is helping other people, and what is he doing? He's just making beautiful wallpapers. Beautiful wallpapers. Like even the wallpaper on my phone is from my iPhone is from his one of his papers because it's so beautiful and it's 4K. So when you look at wallpapers, I love art. That's one thing about me, and I've heard about how you can invest in art and leverage with banks and build business and value. And Jay-Z also, he does art, and I've seen it. I've watched how art is because I'm also in the art industry as well. So I've seen it, and art is a big thing. NFTs is also there too. So all these things to say is like, hey, wallpapers. What do you like? What do you want to prompt AI? How do you connect? How do you build it? You know, all these things can help you long term. So if you want to just plan your week for success, I would say if you want to make this a routine, write this down. And I'm coming to you, Liverpool, after this. If you want to see success with SEO week over week, spend the first 2 hours. I'd say pick a time in the morning. It's up. I'm not going to give you hour blocks. I don't know your schedule. I don't want to interfere with your program. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a suggestion that will alter a little bit of what you do. That will also make room for this, what I'm about to say. So when you actually see it happening every day, it becomes something you can look back and actually appreciate the time you've spent in and doing this. Spend at least 2 hours, at least every day, right? 2 hours connecting with people online. It could be LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be all platforms. You can literally go on a tour, a social media tour. Say, Monday, I'm going to spend time on LinkedIn. Tuesday, I'm going to spend time on Threads. Wednesday, I'm going to spend time on Instagram. Do however you want to do it, right? You can be at all at once, right? Just make sure at least by the end of the day, you've been on one platform. And on that one platform, you are sharing a piece of information from a long form content piece. In other words, if you've spent 30 minutes this week talking about ABC, right? Then if you're creating those things the next week, you want to build tenacity so that as you're doing it every day, you are connecting with those people and you're not connecting with them just because you're posting it. You're connecting with them because you want to make impact. So I'm not saying, hey, make a post every day. I'm saying if you're making a post today, tomorrow make a comment. The next day, share a post. The next day, give your feedback. Say something that will add value to your community, that will show that you're also there, you're present. And how will they know you're present? by tagging the person you're relating with. Whether you're reposting something or you're sharing something, repost it, because that is going to help someone see it. And that also values the person that you're connecting with. The reason why my posts just go crazy is because I just share. I don't have to be the creator of the post. What am I owning? I'm not owning the post. I'm sharing the post. It's not mine. If I have it, it's mine. If I want to share it, I'll credit it. So when you credit your post and you create content within those spaces, you're able to connect the dots and build over time. So if I go any further, Liverpool's finest, what's up? Welcome to the room. What are you thinking? Like, what's going through your mind right now as you're listening to this?
Oh, hi. Yeah, no, this is, you've given a lot of information, very good information, as per usual. So this topic is rather interesting, and it's one that I rather enjoy as well, because I feel like when it comes to planning and things, one of the crucial elements of planning is having a clear goal put in place and being. Can you guys hear me? I'm getting the red bar. Is my audio good? Okay. Yeah, so having a goal is very important, and being mindful of those goals are very important. And yeah, those goals can be either personal or professionally as well. So, and also to bear in mind, there's also different types of goals. It can be long term and short term as well, and kind of splitting them into the two. And yeah, so with that being said, when it comes to success, a plan is very crucial, because it keeps it a landmark. It's basically a map of what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Doing that, you need to have clear and achievable goals, and you should outline them. They should also be SMART, which is an acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So, an example of a goal would be, if you want to increase sales for your business, a clear and achievable goal could be to increase by 10% within the next 6 months. So you have something to always fall back on. Another thing when it comes to having goals and plans as well, whatever they may be, is also identifying potential challenges and solutions as well. By identifying those potential challenges that you may encounter on your successful plan, you're able to come up with solutions, and effective solutions, because one thing in life, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't always predict what is going to happen in the next 2 years or so, but we can also come up with like contingency plans to kind of like stay afloat, etc. Also brainstorming and anticipating those challenges, and also coming up with solutions. Another one would be as well is to have like regularly review your goals and your plan, and make adjustments. Regularly evaluating your progress can determine if any changes need to be put in place in order to achieve those goals. And when it comes to reviewing them, also celebrating those small wins as a way of staying motivated as well, and committed to your goal. Because sometimes in life, when we just focus on the bigger picture, when we focus on the bigger picture, we can kind of get lost and get demotivated if things really don't go away. But actually, really taking the time to really look at what we've achieved, whether it be very small, whether it's somebody who has come across your website, for example, and they may have not bought anything from there, but it's the fact that somebody's actually contributed to your numbers of visitors to that website, and that can also be a big a small win, and you can kind of work on trying to work towards your bigger goals as well. And also as well, one thing that is very difficult, but is very essential, is also dealing with your setbacks and learning from them, and evaluating what went right, what went wrong, etc. So you're able to kind of pinpoint on what to do better, because in life, not everything that we plan or what everything that we hope to achieve in life is always gonna go right at the end of the day. It's not. It's fail things are not always going to go right. It's basically inevitable, and not. I had to literally even stop myself from saying this word and seeing them as failures, because they're not actually failures. Because one thing that we as human beings, when things go wrong, we tend to think, that failed. That literally just went down the toilet, and actually think, you know what? It's not actually a failure. It didn't go right this time, but it's gonna. I've learned from my experience, and I'm gonna take that experience from that recent venture that you've done, etc. um and basically try again, because one thing that's very important: if you don't succeed, try and try again, and eventually it will go right. Because one fact, actually, and this is relevant to the topic, but it's not relevant as well. But there's one fact that I find very interesting, that I don't know if you guys have heard of J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter book series. Actually, if you have, you have. But basically, before she it took, I think it was about 7 places she submitted that manuscript to each different publishers, and she got rejected within 7 times before it actually got to go ahead. And look where she is today. It's still going on strong, etc. They've made movies on it, so that just really goes to show you that really persevering and not actually giving up, and having that belief and self-belief that, you know what, this is what the world needs right now. But I've spoken for a very long time, so back over to you, Favour.
And I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It's very important to think about, all the people who have gone through things that have, they've learned something, they've built it. Julie's here, you've learned something, you've built, and the more you're rejected in something that you 100% believe in, the more you should have like a passion to really make it happen. I've said this before, and I've said it, to some people in person, and I'll say it again here. When you think about negative moments or negative things that happen to you, think of them as negative films. When you have a negative film, if you ever, I remember I used to like print back in the day, you print photos in the dark room, and you come the next day to get your photo because you hang it on the clothesline, or on the hanging rank, wherever you're doing it. And those negative films that you can't see, that's like dark. It's like, I can't really see that, right? It becomes a beautiful picture when you take that negative film and produce a picture from it that you can actually look at down the line and be happy that you had to go through that experience to get to where you are. It may not be great. I'm not expecting anyone to expect that, but it's expected of you to expect the best, expect the worst, but also expect that you should have faith that you can go over those expectations and surpass those limitations that you're going through mentally, right? So when you are doing something and you're consistently doing it, and people are actually seeing you doing it, eventually they'll just believe you because you've been doing it so consistently that you're so authentic about it that it's so natural. You're not even forcing it anymore. Because if you keep going and going, at some point you're going to hit a brick, of course. But the moment you realize that this brick requires another brick to build another brick before you build a house, then I'm like, okay, this brick wall is going to turn into a wall that's going to bring people coming here to come and see this wall. Example, like the Great Wall of China, right? You can actually go check it out. It's a wall, but people can go see it for a reason, right? So I'm giving you like crazy extreme examples so that you can think and stretch your limitations and just go beyond what you're thinking, because SEO is not hard. It's not hard. It is not hard. Like the easiest thing I think for me is to just look at a website, look at its positioning, look at its potential, and then you draw the graph. If you could spend those hours mapping out and knowing that, okay, last week people were talking about this, what are people going to talk about this week? Then that's how you're able to fast track and know, even to predict the next week, because you don't even know what your audience is looking for until you search for it. The reason why I'm so big this month, September, on content is because people want to learn how to do email marketing better. They want to know how to make their websites more secure. They want to sell more products and prepare for the holiday season. They want to be able to sell out tickets. They want to be able to make sure that their operating systems are working, right? So that's a major need because we're getting to the end of the year and people are trying to make sure that they're catching up on all these things. So as a business, what are you doing to get those things done? So that's why I'm here to show how can you plan for it. You plan for it by predicting the future. You predict by planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you plan to create content and say, if this is what people want to learn within this week, I'll punch out 30 minutes. If I'm going to spend those 2 hours per day, I don't have to do it at a stretch. I can do 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. You have 22 hours left. So you have enough time to play with whatever you want to do. But those 2 hours, if you've put in work that surpasses 2 years, that you can still look back at and say, wow, I did that episode 2 years ago. I wrote that article 2 years ago, and it's still adding value to your bottom line. It's still adding value to your business. Then that's where you see the success from. Because you not only showed up for a minute, you showed up for a long time, and you showed up to actually drive impact. Like you don't know the impact you have on people until you see it. And then if you don't see it, I hope you do, because the way you show up for people and the way people show up for you, that shows a lot about what you are, who you are, and where you are, and whose you are. Because if you're planning for these content pieces and you want to do these things correctly, being correct in 2024 is directly proportional to being successful at creating experiences that people haven't had yet. And what is an experience? It's a feeling, it's a mood, it's an expanded territory that you've been able to circulate an emotion that is actually radiating through the person's feelings, and you can actually feel it in the room, right? When you listen to good music, everybody's dancing and having a great time because the mood is right, right? When there's no music playing, everyone is doing what they're doing because they have to pay attention to their surroundings, right? So if you are paying attention to your surroundings in your industry, what are the things people are talking about in your industry that you can address? Questions you can answer. Can you answer those questions? And if you can answer those questions, can those questions be seen? And if they're seen, where can they be seen? Where? I'm not talking about TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Those are second party data sites that give you second party data information, right? And you don't own that. You share that. You don't, that is called shared media. Owned media is your website, it's your podcast, it's your book, it's your intellectual property, right? Because you're paying for that domain, you're paying for that service, you're paying for that hosting, you're paying for that email address, you're paying for that workspace, you're paying for that, you're paying for something as a business. And it's an expense going to your bank statement. It's going to your profit and loss statement. It's going into your future forecasting statements, right? So, how do you predict the future if you don't create it now? How do you predict the future if you don't create it now? I think I was reading something yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? And I was seeing how I'm very big on space. I love space. One day I'm praying I get to at least touch space or see it or feel it, because I just wonder like what is it like out there? You know, it's such a big fascinating thing for me. That's like kind of like a fan fact for me that you don't know. Now you know. And I was reading something yesterday. I think Elon Musk was talking about how this was I think it was probably 96 that he was trying to create the first person to, I think, walk on in space, and they just were able to achieve that not too long ago, just a few days ago. And I saw that, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Then this morning I was seeing how Richard Branson started Virgin Atlantic. I didn't know, I knew the story, but I didn't know the context. I didn't really know like the root cause. And I found it on a video. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see it in your bubbles because I reposted it. And it was so interesting to know that Richard Branson, the reason why he couldn't he even created Virgin Atlantic. If you've never heard this story, check it out. He was trying to see this girl, right? He got on a flight to go meet this girl, and he said, I must meet this girl today. Whatever is gonna make me cost me, I'm gonna see her today. The flight he got on, for some reason, didn't want to take off. They just said, we're not gonna board this flight, we're not gonna take this flight, we're not this it's not happening. So he got frustrated. People are frustrated. He's like, what are we? This is not normal. So he said, you know what? I'm going to rent a plane. So he rented a plane from the air. He actually went to the board and asked them, hey guys, I'm literally paraphrasing. This story is so like imprinted in my mind. I'm literally watching the videos. I'm explaining this to you. He asked the desk manager, and
Do you have a plane I can rent? And they were like,
did is he literally took that rented plane and he boarded everybody on that plane for $39 a seat. So the people who are stranded, he created an opportunity, rented the plane, and then paid $39 to fill up the seats. So I was doing the numbers. I was like, wait, okay, so that's three per section. So that's three A, B, C, D, E, F times, let's say, 32 rows. Because normally like a flight could be maybe 32 rows times $39, right? So if you're doing the math and you're thinking about the number of seats that somebody is, spending times the number of rows that person is having, that person has probably made a percentage of their money back, right? Maybe not all, but they've made a percentage back. And then from there, he said, okay, boom, I'm going to actually create a business. I'm going to call it Virgin Atlantic. And he ended up seeing the girl that he was planning to see, right? But he created an opportunity from a problem he didn't have to solve because it was nowhere in his peripheral for him to solve something like that. But because it happened as an opportunity, he took that as a challenge to say, all right, I'm going to do something about this. So why am I giving you this story? Because if you're gonna plan your week, sometimes your plans don't work out. Sometimes your plans just don't plan. So the plans are not planning. I can put it like that because you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what's gonna happen. You can plan for something right now, and God forbid something happens. Then what? So if you're really thinking about your why and you want to plan for your week, if today's Sunday, I intentionally said I've not done an SEO Sunday in a while. I've not been on Clubhouse in a while because I've been flying in and out of cities. I'm still flying. So I said, hey, I have today, I have tomorrow. I'll do what I can and, show up and show out where I can so I can actually connect with people. And if I can't do that, how are people still connecting with me? If I don't do one room for the next 1 week, am I still connecting with the people? Yes, because I have hours and hours of content that you've probably not consumed yet that you can still do. But when I come up with new content, it shows that there's consistency in showing up. So that's why I said, hey, I'm going to come here, spend an hour with y'all. We got 15 more minutes to go, and I'm going to give you back your Sunday because I love spending time with you. And I also want you to know that what I'm showing and what I'm teaching is practically what I'm doing. And I'm also learning in the process. I keep saying this, I learn more from my clients than my clients learn from me because I'm learning so much about their business. their goals, their dreams, their visions, their tactics. Like it's so much that I'm like, wow, you guys have huge dreams. All I'm doing is just plugging and playing. I'm plugging you to the source, doing the SEO, doing all the stuff, great stuff. But you're the one that carries the vision. You're the one that carries the mission. You're carrying the whole. You're the light bearer. I'm just helping you with the torch, right? I'm making sure that torch hits the right angle, you know, so that when you now take off, you are taking off to a great place and with a great start. What I'm planning to do, and I'm telling you all this, these are two things I'm planning to do because I'm sure you're like, okay, Favor, you're telling us to plan. What are you planning, right? So this is what I'm planning, and you're gonna see it happen. It's already happening, but I've not done it at scale yet. Actually, three things. Top three things. I'll start off with the first one, then I'll go to the next two, which are active. The first one is going to be a year in November. I have an SEO mastermind. I've not talked about it much, but I launched an SEO mastermind for $9.97. It's a one-time fee, and you get into the circle. And I meet with the mastermind group every last Tuesday of the month. We have a rotating calendar all year, and we get to meet. And I launched it out last year. And I wasn't promoting it this year because I was like, I don't want too many people in there. I want to really, and both of them, they're two, full transparency, they're two people. And I was like, I don't want to go too crazy. And they're in two different industries, and now they know each other, and now they're great friends. It's such a cool thing to see connecting people. It's beautiful. So I'm planning to open it up for more people. I'm not even looking for like a big number. It's the quality that I'm looking for. So it's a 997 one-time fee. If you're interested in it, reach out to me and say SEO Mastermind, or just ask me about a mastermind and I'll tell you the process and you'll get in. We meet on a monthly basis. And within those monthly basis, you are getting high intellectual value that you can practically use for the month and create sequences that will give you long-term success, right? And that also builds into your connections online. And in just a span, I'll tell you what has happened to both of them. One of them ended up being featured in a real estate magazine because he does photography in San Antonio. If you type in San Antonio Airbnb photography, you'll see him on the first page of Google, or within your listing, it's probably going to be the first three because Google always changes, but he's on the first page. It's called David Pizzat Photographers. And great guy. He's also here on Clubhouse, amazing guy. And he's in there. He's started his own podcast too now, and he's doing so well. He's been doing photography for 2 decades now. So he's a OG. He's been doing it for a long time. And we said, okay, let's put your SEO out there. Let's connect it in 1 year. This guy is making hundreds of thousands of impressions on his Google Search Console because it's just getting traffic. I was like, all this traffic you're getting, we need to turn them into leads. We can't just be letting them sift away. So we created a pipeline that now allows you to now leave your contact if you're looking for wedding photography, product photography, Airbnb photography, because Airbnb is great, but it's the pictures that sell the house. If you're trying to get an Airbnb for a wedding or an Airbnb for a vacation, if you're going to choose that over a hotel, the pictures will have to make sense. Like you have to have a great experience online that you're actually forfeiting the fact that you could go to a hotel and just ignore all those things. But you're also looking at cost, you're looking at distance, you're looking at price, budget, everything. So he does well in that. The other one, she's a registered dietitian and she's great. Her name is Lisa Norris, amazing. And she's doing so well. And she's literally having, she does virtual cooking classes with couples in Rome. When she told me that there's a couple that pays her to do cooking classes to learn how to cook a dish, and they're in Rome in Italy, that's when I knew that this thing is just bonkers. It's crazy. And these are two people doing amazing things in two different worlds. And SEO it's a mastermind. So if you want to join in, let me know. Amazing things. We talk about some deep stuff in there, and it's great. The second one that I'm doing this week, or rather this next 4 months that we have left in the 2024 year, I'm going to be doing workshops. I did one workshop which worked really well, and I said I want to come back and do more workshops, I want these workshops to be very impactful. So I'm going to be doing workshops on podcasting, how to set up your podcast, how to literally do all those things with SEO, how to do research, how to use AI. There's so many things I want to be packing together, and they're going to be two pricing plans. I'm just saying it out now so that when you guys are seeing these things, you're not surprised, because people are like, oh, what's the price? I'm saying it now so that I don't have to think about it later. I've already thought about it through, and I already have a goal for every single thing I'm planning to do. So there are two pricing plans for workshops that are going to start coming, and you'll start seeing them from tomorrow, because I'm going to start talking about workshops from tomorrow. So just look out for that. And if you want more information, click the link above and fill in the information, your name, email, and you'll be getting really good emails that will give you more insights. There's things I say in my email that I don't say on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn, on social, because I like to keep it exclusive within my email community as well. So there are two pricing plans. The first one is what we were using before. It's $47. That $47 is going to get you access to the replay and access to the workshop. Then the second one is $497, right? That $497 will give you access to, it's going to be a 90-minute workshop. It's normally 90 minutes for me because there's a lot that I have to use in 90 minutes to divide it into two, 45, 45. So it's usually a 90-minute session. It's recorded. So in 90 minutes, we're able to have that session. So you have the recording, you have access to it, and then you have 45 minutes with me extra. So if you pay the 497, you of course eligible for the workshop plus 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how long you want it to be. But we're going to make it 45 minutes. So that in that 45 minutes, whatever you've learned in those 90 minutes, we're going to compress it into 45 minutes so that you can actualize it for the rest of the next 45 to 90 days of your calendar year or content planning year. Because if I give you one formula that strikes out everything, and I tell you, use this platform, connect it this way, you have all this connected, you have a lift off, great. And then if you want to work with us and you want us to do the heavy lifting, fine, that's fine and dandy. We can do that. But you have everything you need to get that going, because workshops, I've been doing rooms on Clubhouse for free and I'll keep doing them for a long time because I love Clubhouse and this house is growing. We're literally crossing over to 350,000 members here. We're at 349.5K members. So I love giving value. I love showing up. Like, this is free information. Like, I'm not holding anything back. It's when we start to get to work that you actually see whatever we're talking about happen in action. So this is just knowledge for you to apply, right? And applied wisdom is great because you can always come back and do your own research. So this has allowed us to create that value. So that's the second thing we're going to be doing. The third thing that's going to be happening this week, and this is also going into the next sets, is for podcasting and billboards. We've actually been running billboards around the country, and it's actually been very fun. Fun in the sense that I'm actually seeing like why people are scared to run billboard ads and why some people are very bold with billboard ads. It's either you're scared or you're bold. You can't be in the middle with billboards. That's what I've realized. Because there's a company we just finished, doing their website, revamping it. They're doing a whole thing in Atlanta called RBY Prints. Amazing guys. Check them out. rbyprints.com. It means right by you. So rbyprints.com. Amazing guys. And if you see them, you can get a quote if you want to print your t-shirts. They're the ones that did God is Dope. When the God is Dope brand was going crazy, they're the ones that printed it. So they have really good material, really good quality, like long standing quality. Like, we work with quality products. So they're really great at what they do. And we're going to run billboards by the exits of the highway in Gwinnett County in Georgia. And that's literally, those two exits are leading towards their office, and then the one is leading outside. There's one we're doing right now in New Orleans, and that is for an aesthetic brand. They do non-medical spa. They do lip fillers. So she's doing like lip fillers for $350. And I was looking at the market. I was like, oh, they do it for $499. They do it for $699. So she was doing it for a deal. And we had to change some operating systems in her website. And now we're running on two different things. One is at the Superdome, by the Superdome, and the other one is by the exit by where her office is. And we've been running ads there. So I've been thinking a lot of businesses are spending, and this is why I'm so like passionate about this, because the one for RBY was telling me that one board they were trying to pay, they were trying to charge him $3,000 for 1 month for one traditional normal size board in the street, and you're not going to get any analytics data. I mean, you might, but it's just one and it's not digital. So I told him, yo, instead of you spending that 3,000 on that, spend at least 1,000 on 4 different boards, which we're going to do 4 different boards, spend 1,000, spend it across the whole month, then see which one does well, and then that other 2,000 you can use it for the rest of the holiday and really target the people that you're talking to, and then they can now sign up to your email list. They start connecting with you, so we're still building into those blocks. And this week is big. So billboards, if you want to get your billboards in the market anywhere in the world, we got you. Because if you have a budget and you have a brick and mortar, if you have a podcast, if you know where your audience is, if you want to connect with people, you're going to do it. I'm planning to do it for myself. I'm going to get the top cities in my podcast. Like I already know San Jose is a top city as well. I'll also probably choose New York too, New York City, and put a billboard and say, hey, listen to the podcast there. Listen to We Don't Play on Spotify or on Apple Podcast, whatever. And people can look at that and like, oh, what is that? Take a picture. Then they'll now go and, do their own research, and then they find you, connect with you, and you're like, oh, wow, this is really happening. So when someone's listening to you on a podcast and then all of a sudden you're in front of them as they're driving, that adds value. It's not just, oh, SEO, I'm showing up on the first page. It's literally connecting with the people who connect with you first, right? So when you connect with those people, you want to know where they're going, where they're not going, and where they need to go. So those are the 3 things I'm working on. And I'd love to connect with you if you want to get that as well. And if you want to get that done, if you want to get on a call with me, that would be great too. And we can have a 15-minute discussion and talk about it. When you click the link above here or in the description, that will take you to our SEO audit and icebreaker call. And I'm so excited because the companies here, like in Houston, in between those 3 plans I was talking about, whether it's a mastermind or a workshop or just getting aligned, there are businesses I see here that they're not really getting. For example, the place I went to do the vitamin C showers, the cold plunge, and the infrared sauna called Sweat House. I did some SEO research on their company based on their location, and I got to meet the manager at the company when I was there. And I got her card. I have just not activated it yet because I had to do some research first. So I realized they're not on like about 65 plus local listings. They're only on Google. So if somebody's on Amazon Alexa at home trying to figure out where to go get, a spa, a non-medical spa, then those are the places that you want to refer to Siri, to Waze, to Apple, to Cortana, to Yellow Pages. So if you're not on those pages and you're only on one page, then that's going to be wrong because it's not going to be easy for you to connect. So it will be harder for you to connect when you're struggling on one platform. You're spending so much money on Instagram ads. I'm seeing them everywhere. Yes, it's great. But I'm like, after you guys stop running ads, then what? Then what? So if you don't have that solid base, then SEO is not there. It's going to be a problem. So once you're in those local listings and your website is connected and you have content to flow, you have an email list to push to, you'll be fine. What I've just said in this last sentence, if you do exactly that, you will be fine. And you will see the benefits of your labor because you're putting 1% in and connecting with people. I'm going to be sending an email out today just to let people know, hey, listen to these new episodes and just learn a few things and enjoy. Because when people listen to these episodes, they connect with you on LinkedIn, they get to meet you in person, they tell you about, oh, I listened to your episode and you talked about this, and you actually get surprised. Don't be surprised because you expected people to listen. So why are you surprised that they're listening to you? So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you learned something new today. Plan your week with SEO for success, and you will definitely see a lot of growth. Tomorrow, I'll be here talking about branding versus marketing versus advertising versus sales. Yes, Liverpool.
I just wanted, and I know you're going to come to the end of the room, I just wanted to read out a quote actually that, I came across this when I was in university, and it really, really blew my mind, and I think it will put things into perspective for a lot of people and myself as well, when it comes to making plans. And it was given by a former um, US Secretary of Defense, who Donald Rumsfeld, who was heavily involved in the Gulf War, and the quote reads as, "There are known knowns, there are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know that there are some things we do not know, but there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know." So that is to say, in life, we don't know everything at the end of the day, and especially when it comes to plans. And it's very important to have contingency plans and plan for those things that we um if in the worst case scenario, and also being malleable as well. So when those things that we do not know are going to happen, right, we're able to kind of withstand that, and we're not going to literally crumble under the pressure, But that was the quote that I wanted to read, and hopefully that resembles with the room. So yeah, thank you, Favour.
Thank you, Liverpool. Yes, it is important to look at those metrics and just ask yourself those simple questions like what are people knowing about you? What don't they know? And how can they know those things by your existence, by your submission, by your contribution? It's a lot of things to add on. So thank you so much for that as well. Appreciate that. Yes, guys, please take action and think about the things you're creating for people, because the more you create things that make sense, the more people can understand and value what you're saying, because you're coming up with information that they're learning from you. And it might just be one word, one sentence, one paragraph, one page, one book, one podcast, one show, one topic that can change someone's life. So start off today, start off right, and I hope you enjoy your Sunday. God bless you all. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Liverpool CM again. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much, Sack Black. Thank you, Faye, Ishman, BM, Victor, Chris, Kelechi, and Justice. Thank you so much for joining. Please click the link at the top if you want to get on a call with me. On the top right, you will see under Believe Quietly 3 dots that allow you to save the replay so you can listen to this over if you have missed out on the room. So I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy your evening and stay hydrated, everyone. God bless. Take care.